Motion does not carry. Representative Freiberg, you're up with House File 1944. And we are, I believe, laying this bill over is your intent?
Sure, I move that House File 1944 be laid over for possible inclusion. And I
Okay.
would move the A1 amendment, which just updates the years.
Okay, the author has the A1. Questions of the A1? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? To your bill as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not going to lie, there's a lot of really important things happening in Minnesota right now, and I've not been prioritizing this bill, so I was rather surprised when you indicated you wanted to give it a hearing.
We're just
That
trying to be
being
friendly.
Yeah, no, that being said, if there were a time to give this bill a hearing, this would be it, when everyone in this room is tired and cranky because we needlessly lost an hour of sleep on Saturday night. Before I get into the bill, it's probably helpful just to give us some terminology here. So daylight saving time, it's often misnomered as daylight savings time, is what we're on now, and there's more sunlight in the evening, as you may have noticed last night. Standard time is what we were on last week, when there's more sunlight in the morning. It's probably also helpful to give some history. I realize time is short, so I will keep this short. But under federal law, states have the authority to go to standard time permanently, and that's what states like Arizona do. However, states do not have the authority to go to daylight saving time permanently. Now, a few years ago, I authored a law with then Senator Kiffmeyer to move Minnesota to permanent daylight saving time. That actually became law, but it only takes effect once Congress authorizes states to adopt permanent daylight saving time. As we all know, regardless of who's in charge, Congress tends not to act quickly. So this bill authorizes permanent standard time until Congress gives us authority to adopt permanent daylight saving time, at which point we will change our clocks one last time. Now, the sleep scientists will tell you that standard time aligns better with the human biology than daylight saving time, and you have written testimony reflecting that. Many people do have strong feelings about which system is preferable or whether we should change clocks at all. Personally, I do have a mild preference for daylight saving time, but my larger goal is to get rid of the time change which needlessly disrupts our schedules. I've felt this way since my kids were little and I was trying to sleep train them, and their sleep would get disrupted for what seemed like no good reason. Standard time is what Congress allows states to currently adopt, so this bill would implement permanent standard time. I did not request any testifiers here, but I don't know if anybody has signed up, so I see a hand over there, but I'll leave it to the chair's discretion.
Thank you, Representative. I do have two people who have signed up ahead of time to testify, Dr. Roxanne Prichard and JP. If you would like to come and keep your testimony brief. Please introduce yourself for the record and proceed with your testimony.
Good morning. My name is Roxanne Prichard. I'm a professor of psychology at the University of St. Thomas. I'm a neuroscientist who studies sleep and mental health. Happy Sleep Awareness Week. So this bill gets to the heart of my professional calling and passion. I study how we can remove the barriers to good sleep that would enable better mental health for the community, that would offer better savings. I'm here to speak in favor of this bill, which has the clear support of education committees, the clear support of health committees. Permanent standard time basically keeps high noon, where the sun is directly overhead at noon. It makes it easier to get up in the morning and easier to go to bed at night. We know there's a big increase in insomnia, and that's so hard for families like mine who have children trying to get to bed at a reasonable hour. So daylight saving time doesn't actually save daylight at all. It just kind of makes everybody wake up an hour earlier before their body's natural rhythm would want them to wake up. And that makes it harder for commuters, to families with children, to just basically function. We know that when we switch to daylight saving time, there are more heart attacks, there are more car accidents, there are more cases of insomnia. So I am here to offer my enthusiastic support for making a simple change that makes it so much better, that would have rippling health benefits for our community. And I'm happy to answer any questions if that helps deliberation.
Thank you, Dr. Prichard. Questions, members, anyone? Seeing none, thank you very much. For Representative Koznick.
Mr.
Yep.
Chair, when we're done with the bill.
Yeah, we have one more testifier, and then we can get to your question. We have an online testifier, I believe. Please introduce yourself for the record and proceed.
Yes, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, members of the committee, thank you for having me. My name is Mr. JP. First name is JAY, last name is PEA. I'm the president of the nonprofit Safe Standard Time. I'm a co-chair for the Coalition for Permanent Standard Time, a group of 8 nonprofits for health and safety. I'm also from Iowa, your neighbor to the south, and I want to urge a yes on House File 1944. Daylight saving time is simply a mandate to wake an hour earlier, which means that we're sleeping less. When you spring your clock forward, you now have a fast clock. Your alarm sounds an hour earlier every single day. And over the long term, this leads to a chronic deprivation of sleep. The lack of sleep is a serious problem in the United States. It increases accidents, it increases illnesses, it can even cost lives, and it definitely costs money. And it does not help save energy or increase productivity. In fact, it does the opposite of those claims. A lot of people who think that they like daylight saving time, in most cases, actually simply like summer, because we do DST in summer, so there's an emotional association there. But changing the clock does not make the seasons happen. Nature makes that happen. Standard time is the honest clock that was taught to me by my farming grandparents, where 12 p.m. is high noon, and it balances the morning and evening light fairly for everyone. Morning light is especially important for school children, commuters, people who work outdoors, our service personnel. They need that morning light to wake up and feel alert and to perform well. This opinion is shared by the Minnesota Star Tribune, the Minnesota-based American Academy of Neurology, and 100 more nonprofits. Excuse me. It's supported by scientific polling. And I really appreciate this bill being brought forward, how it brings together both sides, people who want to have permanent daylight, permanent standard. Let's come together and just ditch the switch. This is the federally pre-approved way to do it. You can save lives and money very easily. Please vote yes on HF 1944. Thank you.
Okay, is there anybody else from the public that wishes to testify? Once, twice? Representative Koznick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and either the author or maybe you'd mentioned relaying this over for possible inclusion?
Correct.
Possible inclusion into what? The OIG bill?
Representative Koznick, that's a great question. I don't believe that we have not talked about whether or not there will be a policy bill. So if the author would like, we can send it on to somewhere else. We could, if he would like.
I'll take that as a question. If you'd like to, we could move it to the general register or attempt to. We could.
We'll just lay it over. It's fine.
Okay.
Members, any other questions? Okay, we have Representative Quam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And my understanding is this would align us with the rest of the world so that there's not that oddity for travelers. Thank you.
Representative Freiberg.
Closing remarks or?
I believe there was a question.
Oh, okay. I don't want to misspeak. Maybe I'd defer to one of the testifiers.
Dr. Prichard.
There's still a few countries that do the daylight saving time, but many countries have switched to permanent standard time, including most recently Mexico.
Representative Quam. Nothing further? Okay. Well, as somebody who sleeps 2 hours a day, this doesn't matter to me anyway, so I'm up. It's great. Representative Freiberg, conclusion.
Yeah, thank you. I do appreciate you giving this bill a hearing. Like I said, it's something many people feel strongly about. I neglected to mention as bipartisan support. It's your average Freiberg, Niska, Zainab Mohammed, Eric Lucero bill.
Okay.
Yeah, so, there's lots of those out there. So, I would, hopefully this can move forward, and I appreciate your consideration.
Very good. With that, House File 1944 is laid over. Members, we are adjourned.